It's Vernisa, and I'm here to speak up. It's time to speak up. Hello, everyone. My name is Vernisa, and this is my podcast, Speak Up. I hope you guys are all having a great week so far. Thursday came quick. The end of this month came quick. For those of you that don't know, the mission statement for this podcast is we will use our voices to motivate people to overcome life challenges through self-love and respect. So, that's the big message on here. This is a place for self-love and respect. Welcome new listeners out there. I hope you enjoy the content. A quick shout out to my amazing sponsors. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester in Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. Tell them that SpeakUpJV sent you. The Instagram is at myy.bar. And also a big shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products are created with you in mind for going to get your self-love show up through your self-care. The chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself by taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com, and the IG is at beactualnatural. Please support the Black business today. Woo! So I'm so excited for tonight's episode. I have a wonderful guest. Y'all give it up for Khrissy B. Hey, girls.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I hope 2023 is treating you well so far.
Girl, it's been great. I can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of ups and downs though, but we'll get into it. But you know what? God is good. So
yes, we on here. We don't spread it on here. I love it. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Los Angeles. I'm born and raised from the Crenshaw district. I am an event producer, content producer, and an events advisor. So I work in, widely in the event production space. And I wear different hats. I manage a couple of artists. I play the front and the back. There's a lot of things that I do behind the scene, in front of the camera, behind the camera. But, to know me is to know I work, a wide range in the event production space.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, yes, you definitely do wear a lot of hats. I've seen you everywhere. I'm excited to have you on here. So we're going to dig all into that nice episode.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, no problem. So what got you into production, media, just all that, like all the different hats you wear?
It kind of, let me start over. So, it's an interesting story because when I was about 15, 16 years old, there was a show everybody should know about. It's called 106 in Park.
Yes.
And I used to run home to watch 106 in Park, and I used to look at, Free and AJ, and I used to look at Free like, man, I want to do exactly what she's doing. It was something about, just her style, interviewing artists. I grew up a music head, a hip hop head, hip hop especially because I grew up, listening to like hardcore hip hop. So I just kind of grew fond of like rap music real early on. I was real young listening to probably music I shouldn't have been listening to.
Me too.
I bought my first rap cassette in 90. I want to say when Snoop's Murder Was the Case came out. So I don't know if that's 92 or 94. But whenever Snoop Dogg's Murder Was the Case, whenever that dropped, that was my first rap album that I purchased with my own money. Of course, I didn't go in the store and buy it, but I was too young. But I took a liking to like rap music early on, and I just liked the aesthetics of just interviewing talent artists, Ananda Lewis, Sway, all these VJs is what they were called. Where they were idols that I looked up to, at an early age, and I was like, damn, I really want to do that. So I started interviewing people. When I really got the resources, I just took it upon myself to interview people that I knew around me and just started interviewing them. And you just kind of land in different spaces, and then after that, I felt like I just felt like there were resources to do what I wanted to do. I was like, where do you go to learn how to be free and do Free's job? And how do you break into being in the media space or interviewing people? It just wasn't a commonality. You didn't go to school for that, So that's when I started creating my own platform. So Music and Media started in 2017. That's where I learned how to event produce. I had to create it myself. I had to produce it myself. I had to learn how to book venues, how to communicate with talent, how to make or run a show. So I started creating all the components that go into event production by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that led to me building my resume for the past 7 years. And so I can do it with my eyes closed, So I started applying for, like, if BT needed a PA or so-and-so needed an event production assistant. I started applying for those jobs, and I was getting booked left and right. Because on top of me, I was self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
I was self-taught in addition to creating my own platform that gave other people the resources that really wanted to kind of break into that space.
Mm-hmm. And I love how you paved your own way and utilized the networks and the resources that you did have. You know what I mean? They always say start with what you got. You're like a nice prime example of that. Like, same with this podcast. I used to be, as a kid, acting like I was on the radio recording on my youth mobile chart.
You have to start somewhere.
And you have to just, like, okay, I'm gonna make my own way and then figure it out from there. And I feel like naturally those people gravitate to you who are in that same light. So I love 100%.
That. And I always tell people too, you're never gonna be ready.
Ever. And trial and error.
Everything you do in life in general. Like, I know this might sound crazy, but I tell people you're never going to be ready to buy that house. You're never going to be ready to have a child. You have to just do it. And you have to just kind of trust the process and just kind of know. You can prepare yourself for it, but you're never going to be 100% ready. So don't ever use that as an excuse on why you shouldn't start. You need to utilize what you have and use the resources you have and pick up where you can and get the ball rolling. And then that will help build enough confidence that you can say to yourself, okay, now I know what I've done wrong. I know what I've done right. There's trial and error. So next time when I do it, I know what to kind of expect next time. And you just keep doing it, keep messing up, keep making the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Keep making the mistakes and just build a brick a day. Every single day you keep stacking on a brick, you're going to eventually have a foundation. So.
Oh, that's well said. It reminds me of my mom. She said there's no way to learn how to drive the freeway. You just do it. You got to just get out there.
You have to. You have to just
do our grind. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I got to formally meet. I seen you around, in different places, but I got to formally meet you at the Gold Diggers panel.
Yes.
So how was your experience hosting the panel? Like, you did great, by the way, but how was your experience?
Thank you. I actually love moderating panels. It's another, space that I feel very, very comfortable in. Public speaking to people, and just having the interaction with people. I love it. Crystal did a great job with putting the event together and just inviting me out. But one thing I really would say is that I really, really am about, encouraging women to move forward in whatever the space is that they are passionate about. Being around like-minded women, I really, really stand on that, and I always feel like we are a force when we're together. If a bunch of women can get in the room and we can share ideas, we can toss our ideas around, we can get behind each other and support each other. I just feel like we can move mountains.
There's power in unity. So tell us about music and media and your podcast, Get Familiar.
Well, music and media, again, started back in 2017. I started music and media literally with just the prime idea of feeling like there were just no resources out there for people that wanted to kind of break into the industry like myself. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to be that change. Let me start something. Let me book a bunch of people that work in music and media, right? And I started with homies. These are all my friends. These were all my friends, the people that I knew through other people. And my first panel was great. So at first I used to have it separated by women in music and men in music. So I had 2 events a year. And so I used to do 2 a year, which was a lot. I'm like, when I think back, I'm like, how the hell did I pull that off? Because that was really what I did for the first 3 years. I had 2 events a year, and they were produced at a high level, So again, just the thought process of feeling like there just weren't any resources. So I feel like if I had a contact on Beyonce, I would reach out to Beyonce. I feel like nobody was off limits. So I would really reach out to any and everybody. I would get the money together, get the budget together to pay them if they needed a stipend. I was really utilizing my resources. I was maxing out credit cards. I was using my whole entire paycheck. Bills weren't getting paid because I was standing behind my product, And maybe that's not the way to live, but I was making a lot of sacrifices to put these events together every single year just because I believe that much in them. And so here we are now, 7 years later. I have had so many amazing people that I have literally watched, studied on my panels, and have, step into my events. it's really mind blowing to see what I've built, and I've been doing it pretty much by myself. Now by the grace of God, I have a small team. It's about 4 of us now, and they work as hard as me. They believe in it as much as I do, and now I'm at the space where I can kind of feel like I can have some room to breathe a little bit because I have the help. But for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been doing it by myself.
Wow. And just again, it all just been folding and folding.
It's been happening by myself. Like I would go out, scout the venues. I would book the venues. I would book the talent, communicate with the talent. I would book the vendors, correspond with the vendors. I would moderate, the day of. I was showing up the day of. I was the contact for every single person involved.
I love it.
It was a lot, and it still is because I'm very hands-on, but I don't know how to be hands-off. So even though you're
a natural-born leader, I love
1,000% hands-on.
Talk about believing in yourself. I love that.
Yes.
And who or what motivates you to keep going?
That child in me. It's this, I feel like, when you hear that, how would your younger self feel? What would your younger self say about yourself now? It's just that little girl in me that absolutely loves this. It's like the little giddy feeling you get when you really think about what it is you absolutely strive to do. And that's really it is. Like that's that younger voice in me saying, keep going. You wanted this, like you used to watch AJ, you used to, now I see the Revolt conference. I'm like, damn, I'm coming for Diddy. Like,
Straight up.
I'm coming for Diddy. I'm coming for Complex Con. I'm coming for a Sneaker Con. I want all of my events to have these different elements too, but my flavor, but at the end of the day, I don't do this for me. This is not for me. This is for people. This is to help somebody else and to give somebody else the resources I feel like I never had. Like, I feel like my purpose in life is to serve. I feel like that's my calling. It's to serve and it's to help people. And I really, really stand on that. Like, I really wake up every single morning and really, okay, like, how can you help someone? And I kid you not, like, I really feel like that's my calling and that's my purpose. So when I'm called to do something, I do it. I listen and I'm obedient to that, so, and this is a part of my purpose.
Oh, yes. Well said. You are definitely living in that.
Yes.
So, you guys, tonight's episode is titled Real and Meaningful. I like to play on words with the guests going off of music and media. So, yeah, so that's tonight's episode. We're going to be talking about meaningful relationships. I got the perfect person on here for that. So let's get started. Let's jump into our Ask Up question of the night. So if you're listening out there, feel free to comment. I always go back and read the comments. I want to hear you guys' answers to this. So the question of the day, Ask Up question of the day is, how do you maintain the meaningful relationships in your life, business-wise and or personal? So I'll go first. Me personally, I let it show up. So whether that's my personal friends or business, I love, like, you invite me to an event, I want to be there front row. This and this. I love communication. I'm really big on checking in on people, even if it's about their mental health, even if it is a business relationship. Like, you good? I think that's how you keep it genuine. Things don't just have to be like this business thing where we're talking professionally. Like, you want to maintain that healthy relationship so it actually can become more when it isn't that business thing. It's easier to work with them. So what about you, Khrissy? Well, Khrissy B, what would be your answer to that?
I think I have to really agree with you 1,000%. I'm the same way. I think showing up and meaningful relationships in my personal space is just that. Like, I have a very, very tight personal space. So I try to show up at the capacity that I can, I don't necessarily talk to everyone in my personal space every day, which is my friends. It could be my mom or, the guy I'm talking to, but just showing up in ways where they may need it the most, so I think I agree with you 1,000%. And in the business space, it's professionalism. I'm very, very professional. Even when I want to pop off, I don't pop off. I maintain my professionalism at all time. And one thing I will say is that my name and my integrity is everything. So I make sure that I keep a certain level of professionalism at all time.
Yes. Yeah. And I like to look for that with anybody that I work, even if it's someone who's my friend first and we're doing some type of business together, that professionalism goes a long way. So let's talk about the importance of having meaningful relationships. I feel like meaningful relationships, they're going to boost you. They're going to grow you. And they have to be mutual both ways. I think
Absolutely.
meaningful, like people, we look at, there's a lot of take out here. Like, what can I get off this person? What can I learn? But like, are you pouring their cup in a way? It doesn't even have to be the same way. I feel like we could pour into each other's cups in different ways, and I feel like those meaningful relationships create that productivity that you need. Sometimes you need that little whisper in your ear, somebody to motivate you for the day. So what advice would you give to a person who wants to build a meaningful relationship on a business professional level?
On a business professional level, I would say to first start, which is most important, always maintaining professionalism. I think that people want to see first up how you show up, at what capacity you show up, and how you handle business. And meaningful relationships will always start with not what can you do for me, but how can I help you? So showing up in the space of sometimes just, we always want to be in the room with somebody, or we want somebody to do this and do that. But sometimes you have to change the trajectory and say, you know what, so-and-so, I love what you're doing. Do you need an assistant? You know what? I would love to just intern with you for the day. How can I learn from you? That's how you start building meaningful relationships, because they're first going to see that you're determined and you have the work ethic. You want to show up. You have to show up. And so you start building those relationships strictly by just sometimes saying, you know what, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Here's what I can present. This is what I have to offer. You know what, let me see what I can offer for you or for your business, especially somebody that you want to work with, or if it's a business you want to work with, start there.
Ooh, I hope y'all taking notes. She already dropping some gems, and we aren't even fit for 15 minutes.
Personally kind of how I started, I've done a lot of free work, and I still do, because they're relationships that I want. These are relationships that I want to build. And but now that I have created those relationships, I can kind of say, you know what, this is my price. And they will pay me my price, because they see how I've shown up. They see how I've worked, and they see how my work ethic, and be always dependable and reliable, be somebody that they can count on, answer your calls, be efficient, show up on time, be someone that they can count on. If you're always canceling and not showing up and making excuses, you will never, ever get the call back or be someone that they want to build a relationship with. So, those certain points are very, very important in building relationships.
And I'm glad you brought up the importance of time, because I was just about to bring that up. Like, really valuing a person's time, like that shows a level of respect, like, of us wanting it both ways, And I want to say too, we got to stop being wanting to skip the free part. Like, when you're starting with anything, you're going to be doing things for free at the beginning. Like you said, you work your ass off to get to that point where it's like, this is my price. But it's like, that's a part of the grind, starting it off. And, I love to keep relationships with any guest that I've had on this show. I used to run this podcast with my best friends. We've had all types of guests, but I love to share those flyers. You guys anybody have an event? It's social media is free. It's so easy. Even if you don't have funds to give it someone, share their flyers.
It's free to support.
Just support, show up, like we were talking about. So I love that you brought that up. Let's talk about ways to detect if you're involved with a relationship that isn't genuine. So y'all know when something feeling one-sided.
Oh, we know, and we can hear it in the gut pits of our soul. You can always tell when it's a one-sided relationship. When it feels one-sided, when you feel like you're doing all the work and it's not being reciprocated, that's an easy sign of, okay, you know what, let me pull out of this. You should be even, and I don't care what the level is of the person or business that you're working on, you should still be able to say, you know what, can I use you as a reference? Can I have so-and-so call you because I worked for you 12 hours yesterday? I want to be able to use you as a referral or reference. Can they call you? Like, if you feel like you're always being pulled and there's small things that you're asking for in return and those aren't being returned, I don't give a damn who it is. It could be Puff. You know what I mean? Like, it could be Puff. Those aren't the relationships you want. There's nobody worth or no business worth you compromising who you are as a person. Because even if it is for free or not, you still have a level of integrity that you should hold within yourself, because you are meaningful too. You are somebody too, and your program is no bigger than mine. Yes, you may have a certain dollar amount a little bit bigger than mine. Maybe your business is a little bit more elevated than mine, but that doesn't make you a better individual than me. And you don't degrade who I am as a person. So you always hold yourself with respect, and don't ever let anybody try to take that from you, you know? So if you feel like it's one-sided, again, I don't care who it is, you withdraw.
Mm-hmm. And I think, our generation, we put so much on cloud, this and that, but how is the person? I like to see how a person move. Like, okay, that's cool, you're this and this, but I've actually cross paths with people who had this and this, but then I wasn't feeling them as a person, or like their morals, like you were saying,
It's a lot of people like that,
and you have to really look
that we absolutely see, that we love, that we probably watch every day and listen to every day. And when you see them in person, you be like, wow, like
I wouldn't work with you. Yeah, and another thing about genuine relationships too, are these people only around when you're having accomplishments? We got to stay away from those people who are just like popping out when it's time to celebrate you, but then when you're going through the nitty gritty, you know where to be found. That's another way to detect if you're in and this is personal life too. You're in those type of relationships, so it's important to reflect on your circle. I just did an episode about this last week, but if reflecting your circle, end of the year is coming. Who are you taking in 2024? What business relationships? I think this is a good time to really sit with yourself and ask yourself, do these relationships grow you or hinder you?
Exactly.
So it's big with that.
Exactly. That's you 100% hitting on the knob. So and like you said, it goes both ways. It's in business and it's in your personal space too. It's with friends. Like, I don't want anybody I can't depend on. I want to be able to lean on you. I want us to be able to lean on each other. We should be able to depend on each other. If it's feeling one-sided and I feel like you're pulling from me all the time and I can't call on you if I need a ride somewhere, if my car broke down, or if I need my daughter to get picked up from the babysitter, I'm running late. These are people that should show up for you. And so everybody, and I also try to be aware too of what everybody's going through in their own personal space. So that's too something that we should always try to kind of horn, especially if these are your friends. Just be aware of what they may be going through. And like you said, we talked about it earlier, like do your check-ins, but just be cognizant of being aware. That's all.
Just having grace and all. So it is now time for our tweet up segment. So y'all know I like to be on Twitter, X, whatever. But something that I tweeted this week that goes with tonight's
Twitter.
We all have Twitter. So something that I tweeted this week that goes with tonight's episode is you play yourself when you keep yourself in the wrong environment. So I'm saying this to say, don't be afraid to change your environment. Life comes with change. And as you're growing, as you're expanding, you might not be coming up with the same people you started with, or you know what I mean? Or you might be leveling up and those right people are going to be in alignment with you. So it's okay. I think sometimes we're scared to take risks. We're scared of that change, or we want to take certain people with us, but sometimes that's not always the case. So I have a question for you, Khrissy B. Has there been a time when you had to make changes to your environment? If so, how did you pivot?
I'm actually going through that now. So this is it's a great question. I'm actually going through that now. In my personal space. So I just had a lot of people that I've grown up with, and I'm talking about 25 plus years, 20 to 25 plus years relationships that are no longer in my life. And it's been a challenge because I've been used to them in my space for so long. And I just feel like we're just at a level where we just kind of outgrown each other. The relationships have just separated, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just that we just don't share the common space anymore. So that, was something that I'm praying through. I'm still praying through it because I just feel like God's shaking up my world, and I don't know why. I don't understand the why yet. I just feel like He's shaking up my environment. There's a lot of new people in my space, and I'm still working myself through that. And again, I'm just waking up every day and I'm just literally going through it. So to answer your question, I'm still pivoting. I'm still going through it. I haven't crossed over yet. It's still something that I'm very uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable space that I'm in. So it's just something that I'm literally just waking up. I'm present and I'm acknowledging, and I'm just literally praying myself through it. But I'm going through it now.
And I appreciate your vulnerability on here being open. I'm actually going through a similar thing. And I think, and it goes into what I'm about to say now. Sometimes you have to do certain things solo. I've been learning like the power of solitude, getting your mind right, really reflecting, like we said earlier, reflecting that circle. And, the relationship with ourselves affects our relationship with others too. So it's like sometimes when we're loving ourselves better, we can pick up when the love ain't right from other places.
Yeah. I love that. And I tell people too all the time, learn how to spend time with yourself.
I love it.
Learn how to spend time with yourself. It's okay to, cry, shout, be in your room for a couple of days, not leave the house, whatever that is that you have to go through every single day to kind of like get it out of your system, go through that. Spend time with yourself. I feel like we all are going through things in life, especially now in this climate where shit is just changing. Our friends are changing, our jobs are changing, you know,
prices is up.
Prices are going high. You know, it's like, what's going on? Like, we're all out here grinding and trying to survive, and let's just keep it a buck.
Yes.
Everybody is in grind mode. So just allow yourself also to, like we said earlier, some grace. You know, spend time with yourself, find some self-care time. If that's putting the phone down and binge watching a series with a glass of wine, I don't know what that looks like for everybody, but really figuring out what that is to kind of like just have that one-on-one time with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Even in spaces of excitement, like you can even go do something exciting with yourself. I love it. I do it all the time.
Go to a concert, like
it's the best. Look, y'all, she dropping gems. So, what's the networking tip that you would give to a person who's currently building a brand?
Ooh, I always say this. I always say, get outside. That's the first thing. Is to get outside. You have to. You're not gonna network. You just can't. Instagram is not enough. Social media is not enough. And show up. You know what I mean? And when I say show up, I mean show up. Look good, smell good, dress the part. Allow enough space. If you walking up to a person to introduce yourself, but don't bombard. You know what I mean? Don't be let me show you my work. You know, you have to get in. And here's the thing: you don't have to go to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pick and choose what's right for you to go to. I do like the element of this kind of like mystique and mystery. You know, you don't really see me everywhere, but when I pop out, I'm popping out at the right stuff. You know, I'm showing up at the right events. I always say that, like, don't feel like you have to go to everything. Pick and choose the right ones. And then just show up. Like, always look good. Always be presentable. You know what I mean? And I do believe in this too. I believe in getting the picture and posting it. You know, I love that. You know, like if you see somebody that you love, don't be afraid to, hey, can I take a selfie? You know, because it does show that you were present. And honestly, this is the kind of a good thing and a bad thing, but in the climate of social media, getting the picture and showing that you were there is a good thing. But you also want to be able to kind of build some sort of genuine relationships from that as well. You know what I mean? So I'm just speaking of, like, you know, building an online presence is important, but, you know, still building those genuine relationships behind the door. But just show up. You got to get outside and show up to the right things.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned that, because don't wrong. I met a lot of dope people online, but I met a lot of dope people in person, and I think it's different. Or the people, you ever met someone online first and you meet them in person?
Yeah,
it's actually deeper. It's like you actually really cool in person. Yep. So y'all go outside, like she said. Summer ain't over yet. Even with summer in, go outside. So it is now time.
Show up at the right things.
Show up. I love that. It is now time for the Life Up segment. So the Life Up segment is when I take the topic and then I relate it to today's world. So tonight's Life Up is a few of them: getting involved with one-sided relationships, not listening to our gut feeling when someone isn't for us, and not using discernment. These are huge points right now. Like you said, there's something that speaks to your soul when something isn't right for you. And I've been loving the power of discernment. And the way I've been using it personally, like I've been learning, is to sit back and observe. I'm very hands-on too. I'm a very extroverted person. And I'm usually like, oh yeah, they're good. And I learned to just kind of calm down. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It's not even me silencing myself either. It's just observing, watching the room, and, you know, using that discernment and seeing how a person acts, you know, how do they move in different situations. Any thoughts on discernment or anything like that?
It's funny because I completely agree with you. Don't be so quick to jump the gun. Don't be so quick to jump the gun. I do like that analysis as far as, you know what, let me stop, let me breathe, let me collect my thoughts, let me sit back and let me observe. So yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that it's so important sometimes to just kind of analyze the whole entire situation in its entirety.
Yes. So those are some more nuggets, y'all. Use discernment, trust your gut feeling, and pour into others, and move in those genuine intentions. It is now time for the Drink Up segment.
I love your
so if you're listening out there, please pull out some water and drink some water. And I got a drink up water fact for tonight. So tonight's water fact is your vocal cords are instrument to drinking, and water is the best to maintain vocal health. Drinking regularly throughout the day will keep your something hydrated. Water should be a singer's drink because it lubricates your vocal folds. So please drink some water so your voice sounds good so you go outside and
And
network.
here's another
Okay,
tip: drink your spring water. Okay, so I
plain
don't know if
water
you guys know
too.
the benefits of spring water, but drink your
Get out
spring
there.
water.
Yes. And stay hydrated. So that was our drink up water fact for tonight. So, in your opinion, Khrissy B, what do you think hinders people from wanting to network when building a brand?
Um, their personalities.
Mhm.
Some people aren't really outgoing, aren't
Mm.
outspoken, a little, more introvert, and I think that can be scary. It can be scary stepping outside to walk up to somebody or to network or to send the email. I think that's the number one reason. A lot of people are just afraid. They're shy and they're afraid.
Yeah.
It's really kind of like a personality trait that they have. But I say start, if you have any friends, if I say start with your circle of friends. If you have friends that can kind of help pull that out of you, kind of showing up in spaces that are social, start there, but you can't be shy in this particular industry. You cannot be shy. You have to speak up. You have to send the email. You have to be semi-aggressive because that's really what's going to help you kind of take it to aggressive in a professional way though. I'm not talking about like bugging somebody. I mean, like you have to be like a bull. You do. You
I
have to
like
be a
that.
bull. You have to be a bull and you have to kind of take it by the horns and you can't be afraid. This is not a timid, scary, shy industry. It's just not, so I say that put your big girl panties on or your big boy underwear and step out of your comfort zone and put yourself out there. That's the only way it's the only way that it's going to help you, because I think a lot of people are just afraid because of their personal personalities. A lot of us are introverts. A lot of us don't go outside. We don't like to be around a lot of people. So
if you're not doing it, somebody else will. So that's true. As it is now time for the Poke Up segment. So y'all know this is one of my newest segments. I like to write poetry, so I'm doing a couple lines from one of my poems. So this is from my poem Resilient. This world has kicked me while I was down, but I still got up fighting. The world threw me the ocean, but I still came back swimming. I refuse to drown in a road of sorrows. I refuse to be blown away in the wind of negative energy because I am the positive breeze moving, blowing along the horizon. I see the sunlight through my storms. So that was something short and sweet. So if you want to be featured on my Poet Up segment, please tap in. I would love it. Thank you. I know I'm making myself out there more with that too. So look, y'all, we all challenging ourselves every day. So back to our episodes. So if you could collab with any artist, who would it be and why? So manifest it.
I don't know if I would say artist, but I really have a dream. And I mean, this is really, really a dream. I would love to collaborate with Issa Rae and Keke Palmer.
Oh, that's a beautiful answer. Okay.
So I would love to collaborate with Issa Rae and Keke Palmer. I see so much of myself in both of them. Me and Issa are the same age. Keke's younger, but I've been watching her since she was I guess Disney childhood actress.
Yep.
And to watching her from where she started to what she's built now, especially with her network, where she's done in the content space, I get mistaken for her every day. And I don't know if that's by like coincidence or what. Like she's the person that everybody tells me I look like. She's like my celebrity lookalike.
But we all got one.
Yeah, but it's interesting, and I mean every day. But going back to the question, I love what she stands for as a Black woman. I love what Issa Rae stands for as a Black woman. Issa is a Capricorn. That's that Capricorn energy.
Are you boss Capricorn? I love it.
I feel everything she says, that she goes through, that she displays, from business to personal. Her, I fuck with her. Excuse me, I don't know if we could cuss, but I fuck with her inside out. And her motto is very similar to mine. Like I love everything that Black people are doing, and I put my people on. Issa has given so many opportunities to her people in her own backyard.
Yes.
She films her show in her backyard. You know what I'm saying? Like, she makes sure her people eat. You know what I mean? She takes care of hers. And I love that, you know, and that's to me, that's the best way you can give back. After, like, I made it, but let me bring my people with me too.
I love it
for that. So it will happen. Issa
yes,
Rae,
put it out there. You speaking
Palmer,
into
I would love to
existence.
work with them. I would love to work with their networks. I would love to do collaborations, whatever that all entails. I don't even care. So
Just tell me in.
I need to just meet them first, and we can start there.
Or I've seen Issa speak at the Revolt Summit, drop nothing but gems. So yes, she put it out there, y'all. Hope she out there listening. And
Put it
speaking
out
of
there.
collabs, yes. And speaking of collabs, you know, collabs fuel genuine relationships. So is it genuine if y'all can't work together? Like, let's be real. Like, you know, so ask
Yeah.
yourself that question with that, you know, and don't be afraid to ask someone to collab. You never know what answer you get. I've had some guests
And
like
when
I
I,
didn't even
and
know
when
they
I
would
meet
come
her,
on.
I'm going to ask her, you know, is there an email I can send my resume to?
Straight up.
I
Just
love
like
you,
that.
Issa.
Do
I
that
would love to,
bull.
you know, like, I'm going to ask her that. I would love to work for radio. I have a event production, you know, resume. Can I submit it to your folks?
Right there, instantly. Be the bull, like she was saying. It is now time for
She gonna feel it, so
right.
she gonna feel it.
She gonna feel the love. It is now time for the show up segment. So how did I show up for myself this week? I showed up for myself this week by listening to myself. I think like this whole week I was just focused on what I needed to do. I listened to my heart and my spirit, and I felt great. You know, so you know, sometimes we have to listen to ourselves. We're so focused on other people. Sometimes, you know, making sure everybody else is good. But are you good? Ask yourself that question.
Yep.
So what about you? How did you show up for yourself this week?
I set boundaries.
That was a good one.
You can't call me at a certain time. I will not respond at a certain time. If you would like to reach me at a certain time, these are those hours. I set boundaries, and I don't bend on those boundaries. Because I do need my personal space. And if you keep opening up yourself, you're going to spread yourself thin. So I set boundaries, and I'm sticking to them. I'm not bending.
No more bending over here. I love that.
No more
so
bending.
I love to ask guests a fun question. So your fun question for tonight is, if you got paid to rap a verse from a song word for word, what song would it be?
Oh my God.
Just one.
Okay, it has to be like the song Through and Through.
Yep. Or like someone's verse that you know really well. Like that one verse that shows
I always do this one because I know it. Like, so first things first, I pop up freaks all the honeys, dummies, Playboy bunnies, and money. Those are the ones I like because they don't get Nathan, but penetration. Unless it smells like sanitation. Big is my favorite rapper. So if it was anybody, I could probably get big. I can get a big verse off.
That's me. We're going back to Cali. Give me that one. I'll tear that one up for you.
Yeah.
Okay, great answer. Now it is now time for the wrap-up segment. How does this relate to self-love? Self-love is loving yourself enough to have genuine relationships around you, meaningful relationships. Why do you want to have dual-ended, one-sided relationships? You're hurting yourself when you're keeping your environment that way. So how do you practice self-love?
Oh, I practice self-love. You know, self-love for me is spending a lot of time with my daughter. She is my love. She is my life. She brings a lot of life into me. So spending time with her, honestly, is so fun. It really, that's my girl. But outside of being a mom, I really just sleep.
Hey,
I take a lot of naps.
Hey, it's like a skin popping.
I was in and out of naps all day on Saturday, and it felt great.
Oh my goodness.
I'm talking about like a late shower, a late breakfast. You know, it's just because I slept in, I got up, I was moving slow. I fell right back asleep again. I ate, fell asleep again. It felt so great to do nothing and to nap.
We got to stop viewing napping as just a luxury. Like we need to we deserve that.
Yes, we have to reset. And I don't believe in the up all night, up, you know, like what do you guys? No, that's my brain is clogged. I can't think like that. Like, and I am no good to anybody off of 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep.
I heard that.
To anybody. I'm not the grind it out all night person. Like, no. I like to get my 8 hours of sleep. I like to get my 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Now I can wake up early in the morning. Like my peak hours are like 5 a.m. I can go from 5 a.m. to like 2 o'clock. I need a nap, and then I can go a few more hours, but I'm done by 8. You know what I'm saying? Like 8:30. Let me tell you, it's lights out. Okay, I'm gonna be in bed, but it's lights out.
I love that. And this is the question I like to ask all guests. This is your final question. What do you want to be remembered for? Manifest it.
I want to be remembering for influence, like being influential. And influential in a way where it's like, you know what? When I'm no longer here, Khrissy really helps me. Yes. Like, she helped us. She looked out for people. She genuinely loved us, and she was somebody I can depend on. So it's really having the influence in that way versus to just being a figure. Like, I don't necessarily care to be famous and be a figure. I just want to have an impact in somebody's life. Like, I was able to genuinely help them.
And I'm gonna say you're already doing it. You're creating that right now. So good job on that. And you guys remember, maintain the good relationships around you. So this is like the thing, love on those people who are showing up. I think we focus so much. We focus so much on what didn't work out. This, who is right there? Who is showing up? What network did you meet? And we could always go out and meet a new one. I think that's the beautiful thing about networking. You can always meet new people, so you don't like this new thing, this current circle you got, go create a new one or roll solo for a little bit, that's basically the theme for tonight. Keep these genuine relations, build your brand and authentically and just have fun with it. Shoot.
Yes.
I really appreciate having you on my platform.
Thank you for having me. This was a great conversation.
Yes, I love
what you're doing, love what you're building. Keep going. If you got to stop and take a break, do that, but get back to it because you're really great at it. This is a great show. Love your segments.
Thank you.
You're shining.
Thank you. And it was an honor meeting you in person finally and just getting to collab with you. But before we go, can you shout your information out? Any announcements? Go for it. Anything coming up? Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm in the midst of 3 events. Right now I'm in the middle of Tech Lamert. Tech Lamert is a tech entertainment media conference going on in Lamert Park this weekend. It's happening on the 24th and the 25th. I encourage anybody to come out if you really wanted to kind of break into this. It's really the Black tech space. So that's again September 24th and 25th. And then music and media is October 22nd. I do have a couple of things going on in between that I will be posting, and I'm still in the middle of production. So as those kind of unfold, I will be posting those. But you can follow me on socials at I am Khrissy B. That's IMKHRISSYB. And then my website is www.nina-deuce.com. So yeah, you can find me on social media. I'm very active, like you said, on X and Twitter, and on Instagram. But I mean, if anybody ever wanted to just contact me directly, DM, email, I'm very responsive within my boundaries. But I talk back, so.
Yes. Tap in, y'all. Khrissy's amazing. It was really nice meeting her. She's a great person to network with. Yes, no problem. I appreciate y'all tapping into my 26th episode of my newest segment.
Great. I love to hear that.
Shout out to my amazing sponsor. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester in Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. The Instagram is at myy.bar. Also, shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All the products are created with you in mind for go to let your self-love show through your self-care. The chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com. Instagram is at beactualnatural. Follow me on Instagram at SpeakUpJV, or my personal is at Vernisa. Twitter at SpeakUpJV, and I'll be back next Thursday with another episode. Nice. Love y'all. Tap in with Khrissy's content. Good night, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.